Hey, welcome to the Happy Rant podcast. I am Ted Cluck, joined, as always, in studio by my good friends, my partners in radio, Barnabas Piper and Ronnie Tarmac. Boys, we are back on the air, back together, and we are full of enthusiasm for this very thing this morning. But I'll tell you what, Piper, it's cold where I am. I'm sure it's cold where Ronald Tarmac is. They're in the north woods of Ohio. But one thing that makes it better and makes it warmer is my new pullover, courtesy of a company called Muskox. Muskox makes fine clothing for men, outdoor clothing, rugged clothing, T-shirts, pullovers. One of my requirements, Piper, is that everything is long enough.
Yes.
And the arms are long enough. The pullover itself is long enough. It's like somebody asked me about it, and I told them that it's as close to like napping under a blanket as you can be while still like walking around. And to me, it's the highest compliment.
And not looking like you're wearing a blanket.
No, it looks awesome. This stuff looks awesome. So Piper, tell us about Muskox, our new sponsor.
Yeah, so you made the connection with this sponsorship, Ted, because the guy who's helping launch it is a friend of yours, and
that's right.
I have to say I was mildly skeptical at first because everybody's trying to start some sort of like sustainable outdoor this clothing brand that, you know, we make fun of the bamboo shoes and whatever, but. But then they said, well, let us just send you some of our stuff and you can try it. And I was pretty blown away. So I got one of the flannels because flannels are my flannels and like plain T-shirts are my go-to apparel for everyday wear. And so their flannels it has climbed quickly to the top of the list of my favorites in my closet. They are all their flannels they're made in Portugal, and which I guess makes them extra special cool. I don't really know if Portugal's known for these things, but
it's a good country, Portugal. Good people down there.
Great place.
Boys, I'm Portuguese, so keep rolling.
Yeah. So okay, so this had they made these with Ronnie in mind.
Correct.
You said it's like wearing a blanket. It's like the softest, heaviest cotton flannel, but it fits the way they're supposed to. It doesn't feel like you're wearing a big like flowing blankety thing. And then it's almost thick enough to be like a jacket, you know, so if it's like 30 degrees outside, you can just throw this thing on and it works great. They also do pullovers, they do sweatshirts, their T-shirts fit great as well, and for somebody like me who's a little longer in the torso but doesn't like big baggy T-shirts, I was so pleased to find a perfect fit T-shirt. So this is a brand new company also. They're just trying to get the word out about what they're doing, the quality of their stuff. It's really sharp. It's really comfortable, really high quality. If you go to gomuskox.com/thehappyrant, so gomuskox.com/thehappyrant, you can check this stuff out. It's really nice. They don't have a huge selection, so it's just a limited number of designs and items in each style, which actually is kind of nice because you just look at it and you go, oh, those are all great. I'll pick this one and that one, and you roll with it. So yeah, go to gomuskox.com/thehappyrant. Check it out. I will probably be buying more stuff from them shortly because I always need more flannels.
Boys, I just went to that website, and do you know what image is on there?
I do, but I was gonna let our listeners be surprised, but it's glorious, is what it is.
Dude, it's kind of unbelievable, and I'm just gonna tease it by saying there's a huge saw in the background and some woodworking, which places it in a certain hipster church.
Some metallurgical wonders in the background as the feature photo for the gomuskox.com/thehappyrant website.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. So, boys, I can tell you, too, that I've done some modeling for Muskox in that they reached out to me. They wanted to, they wanted some images of me in the gear with in a football setting. And if you know me, if you've been listening to this podcast for very long, you know that getting my picture taken is one of my least favorite things in the human experience. So because of my love for my buddy and for the gear and for the company, I went ahead and did some Muskox modeling. So I don't know when those photos are going to drop, but it's going to break the internet, I bet. Anyway,
Ted,
boys,
can I go off the script that we don't have and ask you a question real quick?
Absolutely. Off all the show prep that Jared C. is convinced that we do.
Yeah, the show prep that we didn't do. So I saw a tweet shared. I think Ronnie may have liked this, and that's why it popped up.
Okay.
Written by, I'm assuming, one of your students.
Okay.
So, because I think it was in your university's newspaper, magazine, whatever it was. But it was about the lingo of Ted Cluck.
Okay.
Were you interviewed for this, or was this just written about you?
It was written about me. It was, I had this kid, Caleb Morgan. Shout out to Caleb and the Morgan family if you're listening. I actually think they do listen. But yeah, he's an incredibly funny guy, one of my writers this year, one of my staff writers. And yeah, he put this piece together like with sans interview material from me. So he just went off the cuff with that one.
Well, I mean, so listeners, if you go into our Twitter feed, you'll see we reshared it probably a week ago at the time of this releasing. But and it's all of your catchphrases. Minus suss this out. Somebody pointed out, they're like, oh, I didn't get suss this out, but it was so spot on. He did an excellent job.
Yeah,
it was like tongue in cheek, but also he was very it was clear that he respected you. It wasn't like Ted uses all these weird phrases. It was like, no, this is just who he is, and these are the phrases you need to learn if you want to talk with Ted. And I thought, well, that's also what you need to learn if you want to listen to the Happy Rant. So it felt a little bit like a Happy Rant introduction as well. I thought it was pretty great.
It serves a dual purpose. And dude, no joke, that kid is super talented. He's going to write for The Ringer one day. He's that good. So, Caleb, Morgan family, if you're listening, we appreciate the love and the shout out. But Piper, speaking of families, we have family issues to suss out because one of our listeners, I feel like our listenership is like a big family in a way. They're the kind of family we don't have obligations to see, and we don't have to like do Thanksgiving with them. But in a sense, they're a big family. And as such, one of them alerted us to a tweet by Stephen Wedgeworth. Steve-O.
Steve-O. Steve-Reno.
Yeah, Steve Wedgeworth. So Steve had some basic steps to recovering the Christian home. So apparently the Christian home was gone for a while, like it was lost and it needed to be recovered. And there's a lot that we could say about this list. How do we want to wade into this, Piper? What should our format be for it?
Well, I think we need to start by giving some context here, which is A, we know nothing about Steve Wedgeworth. B,
and chances are you don't either, because I don't think he's necessarily a person of interest.
Yeah, I don't know that he's I don't know that he's like a name. But B, we did the episode a month or two ago with Clint Presley's 99 Ways to Be a Man. This is like a condensed version of that for how to be like a married homeschool family man. So
I know
it's sort of like it sort of takes all 99 of those and dumps them into family married man buckets. So I think that's just for context, that's what we're working with here.
It's incredible too, and unlike Clint Presley's list, I got to tip the cap to Clint, because when he said 99, I knew there were 99. With this one, right away, I'm not so sure how many there are, because, Ronald, you're not a math guy either. And I'm not a math guy.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
I was more of a writing kind of guy. But what we got here is a list that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back to 5, and then back to 6 again. So Stephen Wedgeworth is advocating for some homeschooly things in here, but guys, I got to start by questioning his math education. Are you with me, Ronald?
Or I mean, maybe homeschooling math has graduated to some new level that we're just not even aware of. This thing has gone way above and beyond. We're so bad at math, Big T. That maybe this is the new math.
This is new math.
Way behind.
It eschews. It's turning its back on traditional counting, I think, is what it's doing.
It's they don't even count regular. It's this is calculus level math.
It's
right?
calculus. This is dots and lines. This is Goodwill Hunting type stuff.
Exactly. This is Matt Dane.
I'm the biblical numerology side, because that could easily be at play here. It's very odd to skip 7. 7 is like the number.
Yeah.
You should have
7's
like,
the number of completeness. But
if he wants to
it.
double up, it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. That's how he should have done it if he really wanted to represent a good Christian perspective.
Yeah, so Steve got some love for this. He got 432 likes, 95 retweets. I don't know if that's counted in the traditional way, but I don't know that there's any way for us to suss that out.
Yeah, it was like 94, 95, 95, 95, 95. So really it's like 100 retweets.
I know it, man.
Well, dude, you know what's crazy about it, too, is like not to be all controversial, but because Steven's being controversial. Like, dude, if you look at number 3 and he spells Christian, Xtian, I mean, that's kind of a no-no.
Is it a no-no?
He literally he took the Christ out of Christian, man. He put an X there.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, that's
good catch, Ronald. Good catch.
I mean, when I grew up in my own, like level of like, fundyism, like you were never allowed to say like Xmas or Xtian.
Yeah.
I mean, you always made sure that you didn't do that because that was, wait for it, the secular way of spelling Christmas.
Oh yeah, people were going in hard on that issue for sure.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
To be fair,
X is like X is kind of a bad letter. It's a rated R letter.
To be fair, he's talking about Christian schools, and so to say Xgian schools there's not a lot of Christ in a lot of Christian schools either. So maybe that's just reflective of that whole arena.
Yeah.
Given his level of like math, that may be or may not be true. Right?
He's totally a good math guy. That's a fair analysis.
His kids must be really confused in homeschool math is all I got to say.
I'll tell you, his kids are stoked. I can tell you right now, his kids are stoked with everything that's going on in the household.
Dude, he's got some good stuff going on in his household. So let's talk about.
They're pumped right now.
Yeah, they're pumped, dude. They're so pumped. They're definitely not going to be rebellious
because they're like 11 and they're thinking, man, I could have my first kid by 14.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
If you look at number 1.
So number 1, let's get into number 1. That's an elegant segue, Ronald. That's good radio.
Thank you.
Number 1 is get married sooner. He doesn't say when, just sooner.
What do we mean by sooner? Define sooner, Steve-O.
I don't know, baby. I don't know when sooner is.
Does that
like if I'm 13 years old, how do I define sooner?
Like I'm 13. I've grown up in the church. I feel ready. I'm not going to lie.
Mary was probably 14 when she had baby Jesus, so does that qualify?
Yeah, maybe it does.
What about if you're already married? How do you get married sooner if you're already married? Because this is recovering the Christian home. So let's assume let's assume that Ted has lost his Christian home.
Right. How do I get it back?
You have to recover it. You have to get married sooner.
Yeah.
You got to get remarried?
Yeah. That seems like not the Christian home, ideally.
Yeah.
Should you just renew your vows?
Yes.
I'm not going to lie to you, boys. I got married pretty soon as it is. I was only 20. So you start running that back, man. You're getting into like some adolescence right there. So I don't know that I can get married much sooner to please Steve.
Yeah, you were like babies marrying babies.
Dude, kids marrying kids,
Yeah, man.
So number 1 is get married sooner. Number 2, on basic steps to recovering the Christian home. So I think we can infer that you don't have a Christian home if you're not doing these things. Number 2 is have kids. So if you can't have kids or you don't want to have kids right away, you're out of luck. You're not in a Christian home, apparently.
Well, let's just assume that if you're single and listening to this, sorry, you're going to burn. So
Oh, for sure, yeah. Whatever dwelling you're living in, it's not a Christian home if you're single.
Just click off the podcast immediately if you're single.
And I'm being very tongue-in-cheek about that. I have to give that disclaimer. So number 2 is have kids. Now, I feel like, and this is not a like pejorative or a disparagement to my kids at all, but I feel like I swore more and I got exponentially more angry during the early years of having kids because it wasn't easy. So I dare say maybe my home was a little bit less Christian in those early child rearing years, and by God's grace, it's gotten a lot better, and it's easier now, and it's a lot more fun. But the early years were tough. But per Steve, this is how you have a Christian home. You have some kids.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's so like vague about having kids. Like he doesn't say how many. Does he give the standardized Reformed 4 kids? Number.
Baby, 4 is baseline, though. That's just a start. That's like a starter home for Reformed people.
He doesn't even give baseline. He doesn't give any detail.
Do you think we should apologize to our listeners for not having had enough children between the 3 of us to be qualified as either Christian and definitely not Reformed?
As a radio program, we've done a crappy job of having kids.
But guys, I'm the one that has to apologize because kids is plural. He didn't say have kid, like Big R.
That's right.
He said have kids.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I'm out of this one.
Boys, between us, we have only 5 kids, which makes us like a small to mid-sized reform family. If we
have like half a
family.
Homeschool van worth of kids.
I know.
Yeah, we have nothing.
We're a disgrace, boys. We're a disgrace to our tribe. Number 3. This is we're getting into education now. Number 3, homeschool or local Christian school with lots of local Xtian school with lots of parental involvement.
Oh, that sounds like hell.
Yeah, parenthetical. I prefer hybrids. Now, I think I want to speak on behalf of all educators right now and say that your kids' teachers do not want lots of parental involvement. They don't want you there all the time looking over their shoulder and asking questions.
But baby, that's the problem with education.
Okay, I'm listening.
you just laid out every single issue with education, man. Is that the parents aren't involved enough? See what you just did there?
Yeah, I don't know.
See what you did?
I don't know. He prefers hybrids. What does he mean by hybrids?
Homeschool co-op.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it means that like mom can read and write, so she teaches the kids reading and writing. Mom's not great at math and science, so she outsources that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's co-op.
Dad's the headmaster of the school and probably only teaches theology.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, of course, yeah.
All right, number 4.
Well, quick question on the parental involvement thing. So this may be tangential.
Sure.
I have really weird interactions with other parents and then with teachers on opposite ends of the spectrum on this. Because my philosophy as a parent is it's my job to get my kids to school, clean, fed, on time, with a lunch packed, and with their homework done. Like, that's what I do.
I agree.
Teachers, take it away.
Yep.
When I say this to teachers, they nod knowingly. And the other thing is I never go to parent-teacher conferences because my kids don't get in trouble. They're getting fine grades, and they're not, like in emotional distress or being bullied or whatever. So what do I need to talk to the teacher about? And when I tell this to teachers, they nod and express sort of under their breath appreciation because I guess it's a little risky to say that out loud. When I say this to fellow parents, I face like the judgment of the 7 hells because I'm abandoning my children or something like that.
Yeah, Pipe, that's controversial, man, that you don't go to parent-teacher conferences.
Why do I need to go to parent-teacher conferences? What am I going to hear that they didn't...
Baby, I'm not arguing. I like it.
They send me 14 emails every week. What do I need to talk to them about?
Yeah.
Also,
I like it, man. It's controversial.
They could send one email every 14 weeks and I'd be happy. Like, I think one a semester is fine.
Yeah.
The disparity between the parental pressure to be involved, apparently that's what it takes to be a Christian. Again, my confession to you listeners, I'm not a good Christian parent, apparently. And what teachers actually want, there just seems to be a huge gap there.
That's true. And, I mean, maybe there are teachers out there who want more parental involvement, but my guess would be they want exactly what you're providing, which is a kid who's well-rested and fed and clean and has their homework done, but I don't think they want a teaching assistant, which is what this is implying, I think. Number 4, boys. Families should eat together. I agree. I enjoy eating with my family. I'm not going to lie. It's fun.
Yeah. It's a lot of great fun conversations and catching up on life. Like, that seems like a good one. That seems like also a good way to be, like, friends with people, too. You should eat with
Have you ever been...
For sure.
Have you ever been around... I'm not saying this doesn't happen, but, like... If everyone's in the same house together, are there? And I know there are, so I'm not being like literal with this, but are there literal families that when like the food is prepared, they go off into their own bedrooms and shut and lock the door and like don't eat together?
I don't know. I've not really been around that, Big R.
Or is it more that they're just running around and they don't even like prepare something so as to eat together?
Dude, I think they're running around. They're going to 14 different like travel soccer practices and like 2019 stuff. They're trying to live their dreams through their kids, so that's at odds with eating
because
together.
I feel like any normal parent, like if they prepared something, like they wouldn't let the kid just grab the plate and rush off into the closet, lock themselves in it, and like start video gaming.
That's true. That's true. Although
I think that's more to do with so even my kids who are 14 and almost 11, there's some nights where like one of them has dance practice and the other one has swim practice, and they get home at different times, and so I just sort of make dinner and they eat when they get home, and so on those 2-3 nights a week we're not like sitting down as a family, but then other nights there's a lot more regular flow to it. But yeah, I don't think it's usually like the sending people off to different corners of the home to eat by themselves.
Yeah,
let me get this straight, Pipe. You don't go to parent teacher conferences, you don't eat together, you haven't married sooner, or you have had kids, and you don't do homeschool. I don't even know what are you doing?
I think I'm disqualifying myself from ministry. I think that's.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I need to call your pastor.
Yeah, exactly. Can I pose a bit of a practical question at this point? What are the odds that we're going to get an email this week from Steve Wedgeworth? Because I think they're pretty high.
219 out of 219.
Counted in the traditional way. Yeah. I think like our Venn diagrams are close enough that like people in our listenership are going to know Steve Wedgeworth personally, and he's going to know that we've done a whole episode on him. And
do you think Wedgeworth is like a major player that we're unaware of?
Dude, we're for sure getting an email. I bet he's a player in the like homeschool like debate tournament community. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's written like a pamphlet or a book, or I don't know. But we're definitely getting an email. And it's going to be like, hey, guys, listen, I don't mean not to tell you how to do your jobs, but here's 8,000 words on how to do your job.
Out of order, but let me just say this. And nobody messes with Wedgeworth.
Yeah, that's it, man. Nobody steps to Wedgeworth.
He is in Canada, so that might limit our exposure on this one.
Yeah, dude, and also Canadians are cooler. He's an
American living in Canada, so...
Oh,
never mind.
Yeah, never mind. Never mind. Scratch that. All right, boys, number 5.
Which number 5?
Are you sure it's number 5?
Are we on
it's
number 1, number 5, or number 2, number 5?
It's number 1, number 5,
okay.
Which I know the math is going to get confusing. If you need to take some notes at home and just jot some things down, you can do that.
Because that's what our listeners
Number
do. 5,
family worship / devotionals. You know, hard to argue with that, although I can.
As you eat together, do you break out the guitar and do a little campfire?
Dude, I can tell you,
get around the fireplace.
And maybe this is just my shortcoming as a person.
Indescribable,
uncontainable. We cooked this meal and we're eating it together now.
Big T, why is that the only worship
we
song
are
we're making fun of worship
Christian
songs?
home.
That's the only song we ever go to.
Dude, I know. It's the only one we know.
It's like whenever we like reference a worship song, literally for the last 10 years, we go to that.
Dude, that's been our go-to joke.
Song.
Indescribable. Yeah, there have been 0 times that I've ever like taken out a guitar and led my family in singing.
And T, I love how you get like this like beer commercial voice every time.
Dude, yeah, I go into like
you get like the Bud Light
Miller High
commercial
Life
voice.
commercial voice. Indescribable. Yeah, like
that gritty, like that gritty vibrato,
like late career Bob Dylan. Like I'm pulling a 6-pack out of a river that I'm also fishing in. You know?
Yeah, you're fishing. Yeah, you look like the lead singer from Creedence Clearwater Revival.
No, there are no 6-packs. No rivers.
You look like the lead singer from Creedence Clearwater with your voice.
Little CCR swamp rock.
I guess we could call this list a 6-pack. It's a 6-pack of instructions.
Except there are 8 things on it. Like, that's what I don't get. That's where, like, that's
right.
the disconnect.
He ruined it by going 5-6 twice. Man, a 6-pack of Christian instructions would have been great.
Dude, it'd be like...
What do you think the...
Go ahead, baby, go ahead.
Go, T, go.
It'd be like if like a party store sold you a 6-pack, but then there were like 8 cans of beer in it. You'd be so confused.
That's called bonus. That's called a bonus
Exactly.
What, has anybody... I don't know. Me and Pipe are probably going to get fired, but... I mean, family worship, is that... I mean, how many people do you know, like, do family... And when I say worship, I mean,
okay,
like, sing,
so
like family
I feel like I know people that do it, but it's always unspeakably awkward. Like, I don't know. I know 0 people who do it and enjoy it. I know lots of people who do it and feel unspeakably awkward about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do they do it? They feel like feel
yeah,
obligated.
it's
100%.
obligation. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
They feel obligated about it. I understand.
Well, dude,
Piper,
if we can go serious for like 1 minute, I'm curious about, like, you guys have both raised kids, and, you know, Piper, I think of the three of us, your kids are the youngest, but they're around the ages of my kids. Like, how has family devotionals worked for you guys? Because it's been a mixed bag for us. I'll not lie. What does that look like?
Well, I'm way out of the game.
You're out of the game.
Pipe,
You're out of the game. Yeah.
Why don't you roll with it, Pipe? Roll with it for us. I'll let you speak for me.
I grew up where family devotionals were incredibly, like, rigorous, and the family was very dedicated to them. And frankly,
you guys were like doing it in Hebrew, and
just
parsing to Greek.
It was the kind of thing where, like, there would be like a quick Bible reading and prayer in the morning before we headed off to school. And then in the evening, it was a more like longer passage, talk about it, and then everybody prays. And so you're talking like a 20, 30-minute thing potentially.
Yeah.
And it was the kind of thing where when I was in high school, I'd be getting ready to head out with friends, and my dad would like call time out and be like, "We got to do family devotions first." Occasionally, and I hated it so much.
I was going to say that probably didn't irritate you.
No, I mean, as a high schooler, nothing irritated me. I was super even keel and never got annoyed at my parents about anything ever.
We all think that way about you for sure.
I don't have any opinions about anything. So I kind of swung the other way with my kids, where I was like, we're just not going to do this because it just feels like torture. And I realized, a few years into parenting, I needed a little bit more intentionality. But I've tried a lot harder to make it intentional conversation as opposed to intentional, we're going to sit down, read, discuss, whatever, and kind of interrupt things. I've done that periodically, especially like Advent or Lent leading up to things, using resources that, I don't know, like She Reads Truth did some great stuff for kids for Lent a few years ago, things like that. But for the most part, it's a lot of just conversation, talking to them about sermons at church, asking them what they're reading, because I do encourage them to be in Scripture and praying together with them every night, things like that. But I just want it to be something that they don't resent. That it seems like resenting family devotions is not a great endpoint.
Not a great starting place. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been weird for us too, Pipe. I think there's always kind of been the obligation to do it, but and I think you do it even when it feels forced sometimes. But yeah, we've kind of gone through the reading and prayer thing in the morning, and where it's ended is that, like, I have this group chat that I'm on with a bunch of college dudes who have been in my program, and I text them out scripture every morning, just whatever I'm reading, and I've added Tristan to that, so he gets that every morning. I don't know, it probably feels like a cop-out, but I don't know, it's a nice way to share some scripture, keep in touch with those guys. Okay, number 6, and this is, again, just to make the distinction, this is the first number 6. So if you're following along at home, this is like linear standard number 6. It's cook. So yeah, ostensibly, I don't know. I'm no food scientist, but if you're going to be eating food together, like, somebody has to cook it. So
not if you're new school, Big T, and you get like the meals like delivered.
Yeah.
Like, meals in a box, fresh, like fresh.com or whatever.
Yeah, like Blue Apron.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
You even have to cook those, though. Like, they send you ingredients. Yeah. That's why those are such a ripoff. They're like, here's all the stuff packaged for you to do all the work, except for the grocery shop.
But I mean, like, so is he making the distinction, like, he literally wants fresh ingredients, like prepared, chopped up, like, put in the pan, or is he saying, like, that's different than just, man, how everything's just gone to, like, we just grab food, we throw it in the microwave, we heat everything? He sounds like a guy that would make that distinction. Am I correct?
I've got a hot take here to that, Ronald. And you're right. You're absolutely right. I feel like this is a guy who would underseason his food. Like, I don't want to eat a meal that he's cooked. He would serve like
there's not a lot of spice.
He would serve some kind of like Southwest tortilla soup, and it would be bland and tasteless. And,
hey, Wedge, how about some salt?
Yeah.
I mean, can we get a little salt and pep?
Not going to kill
in
you,
this dish.
How does he feel about like, hey, Mom and Dad are really tired. We're just somebody's grabbing Chick-fil-A on the way home. We're ordering pizza. So like you're still eating together, but
that doesn't work. That's not Christian.
Wait, so
that's not
eating together only counts if it is also cooked by a member of the family.
It has to be prepared, Pipe.
Man.
Hey, Grace,
you're probably not Pipe. You're probably not even doing that, man. Why are we even talking about this with you? I mean,
I just feel like Emmanuel should fire me now. I clearly don't know how to have a Christian home. I'm the worst at this.
I'd be on the phone with Ray right today.
It's all about Grace.
He doesn't
though, not
work
law,
there
boys.
anymore. Ray's.
I know.
Nope. You have to.
So I just said.
Find my new boss.
Dude.
Number 5. And by number 5, I mean number 7.
2. Yeah, second number 5.
This is the second number 5. Also, like if you're more of a linear, like old school counter, if you're like vintage with your numbers, this would be number 7.
This one baffles me, man.
But for
I'm gonna be honest with you.
for Wedge, it's number 5. And I want to hear your take on this, Ron, because you're a musician, obviously. Number 5 is play music at home. So Ronald, what's he getting at there?
Dude, I have no.
What's he getting at?
No, if I were to guess, it would be because I don't play at home as opposed to like I don't know, like going onto the street corner, like breaking out your clarinet,
like a busker.
Your
is that the word for
clarinet?
it? Yeah,
right, yeah. I don't know, make sure like the kids are like taking like music lessons and doing it at home. Like I don't know,
or is it like telling your Google Home or your Alexa device or whatever to play music while you're cooking dinner so you can eat together? And so is it like turning on music at home? Does that count?
Pipe, I don't even know if you're listening to this list or you understand who Wedgeworth is, because obviously he doesn't have witchcraft in the home. He does not have an Alexa. He does not have an Echo in his home, dude.
Dude, we are 1,000% getting an email from Wedgie. 1,000%.
It's going to turn out that Wedge has contributed like 85% to our Patreon account.
Dude, yeah.
We're literally just killing ourselves.
Our listeners, by the way, if you love what you're hearing, you can go to patreon.com and support the Happy Rant. That helps us cover all of our production costs.
If you love what you're hearing, meaning that you're not Stephen Wedgeworth.
If you're not Steve Wedgeworth or one of his 14 kids.
Boys, I gotta teach class in a couple minutes, so I wanna land the plane on this list because I know we got another sponsor to gas up, but. The last item on this list, number 6, and this is, again, if you're following along at home, second number 6, otherwise known as number 8, is build/craft.
AKA something Pipe does not do.
So, again, steps to recovering the Christian home. I dare say none of us do this. Steps to recovering the Christian home, build or craft.
I'm crafting half the day. Baby.
Are you really, baby? What are you working on? Are you going to Michael's? Are you going to
really well-crafted Instagram posts?
Correct.
Dude,
which obviously Wedge does not. He is not referring to anything that doesn't contain like sticks and wood.
Yeah, there has to be sawdust involved.
There has to be sawdust. Absolutely.
So you're crafting, baby, just not of the like sawdust variety.
Yeah, I'm not a sawdust guy.
You know what you're crafting? Yoda tweets.
That's insane. I'm crafting Yoda tweets.
How's your Yoda life been lately? I'm your Yoda accountability guy. I'm checking.
Yeah, it hasn't been great.
Yeah.
I'm coming out of a hard time, and I need to recover my craft.
You do.
Right?
Dude,
so basic steps to recovering my Yoda craft. I'm gonna tweet out something on that. Maybe that'll get me back to it.
Pastors.
Ronnie, I need your expertise on Yoda tweeting.
Yeah.
I regularly share quotes from people who are smarter than I am. And I was accused of basically renting Yoda tweets, more or less, when I did that by one of our listeners. There's like, you can't even do this yourself. You're borrowing Yoda tweets from.
Wow.
I'm like, it's G.K. Chesterton. He didn't even have.
It's Yoda plagiarism.
Yeah. So is that what I'm doing? Is this Yoda tweeting like borrowed, or am I like sharing real wisdom, not like Twitter
I think that literally is one of the questions for our day, and I think we should devote an ep to talk about the difference between Yoda tweeting others or doing original Yoda. It's the difference between crafting and aping, and let's talk about that next time.
Right.
I love that.
It just seemed like a very pertinent question, and you definitely seemed like the guy to ask.
Oh, I have opinions on that. Let's chat.
We got to get you into the Yoda game. Like the original.
Pipe, he occasionally Yodas.
Yeah.
Does he?
Very, very occasionally.
Very occasionally.
When I can't find a great quote to borrow.
Yeah, when he hasn't read like his Spurgeon, his Spurgeon devotional that morning that he doesn't do with his kids.
You think my kids want to read Spurgeon?
I know this kid doesn't want to read Spurgeon.
Dude, they want to read it in the home while you're playing music. They want you to set Spurgeon to a little guitar.
Little vegetables on the walk.
Dude, some vegetables on the walk, some guitar over the shoulder, and a little Spurgeon.
And some sawdust.
Is some sawdust? Is that too much to ask for a Christian home, boys?
Apparently, if you're Barnabas Pipe,
Judas Priest.
Well, I think we determined I don't have a Christian home, so I'm off the hook.
Boys, I gotta go be a school teacher with a lot of parental involvement here in 4 minutes.
You need to recover the Christian classroom.
I gotta recover the Christian classroom, but Piper, that gives us just enough time for you to gas up another sponsor of ours, a longtime sponsor, friend of the program, Dwell Bible. Go.
Yes, Dwell Bible is our longtime sponsor. It's a audio Bible listening app, so any of your mobile devices that you carry around with you, you can use it. If you go to dwellapp.io/Happy Rant, you can check it out. They have a special offer for listeners, a discount. They offer listening plans. They have multiple narrators. They have musical backgrounds. So you can listen to help you study, listen to help you not lose your mind in traffic, listen to, if you haven't had time to read your Bible on any given day because life is crazy or you have long commute or whatever, it works great in the car. They have offline listening, so you can download passages and listen. So if you're you're in a rural area and your connection stinks or you don't want to use up all your data or something like that, they offer that. And they're continually building out new features. So if you subscribe with our discount, it's about $20 a year, which is not a bad deal at all. It's really inexpensive. But then it doesn't just stay static. They're regularly improving, adding, building in new features to give you different ways to interact with Scripture. So again, go to dwellapp.io/Happy Rant. Check out the discount. They have a free trial if you want to check it out before purchasing as well.
Masterful, Pipe.
Masterful. Just great work by Pipe. Maybe Pipe doesn't need to get into the Yoda game. He should just stay in the promo game.
I think so.
I mean, it's crowded. Baby, the Yoda space is crowded.
I don't want to step on Ronnie's toes either. Like, if we both start doing this, I like not competing with Ronnie. Like, he's got his thing that he excels at, and I don't want to feel the need to try to I'm going to try to be better than Ron at the thing that he's already good at.
That's true.
That's generous.
That tension seems unhealthy.
Yeah,
it is big hearted. I appreciate that. Well, and I will not do any Spurgeon quotes. Just to stay.
I dare say that even though we don't have Christian homes, we have a Christian radio program, and that proves it. So we have a Christian studio, and doggone it, boys, that's enough for me. But we have done what we always do on this program, in that we've wandered to and fro throughout one tweet by Stephen Wedgwood. Is that his name? Wedgeworth. Sorry, I wasn't looking. Stephen Wedgeworth, who will for sure be emailing this week. And until next time.
The Happy Rant is brought to you by Resonate Recordings. If you go to resonaterecordings.com, you can see the full range of services they offer. So if you're considering starting a podcast, they are the ones we recommend going with. Again, go to resonaterecordings.com to see their prices, to connect with them and ask any questions, and to see what they can do to help you launch, edit, master, and improve your podcast. Again, go to resonaterecordings.com to see what they can do to help you launch and improve your podcast.